final week of the regular season is here as we kick off Week 9 of Football Friday. Some big-time matchups and one key battle for a playoff spot spread over 2 nights. The DVC teams playing on Thursday and the CCL ESCC playing on Friday. Let's start with the highlights. You may be wondering why we aren't starting with the Crosstown Classic Round 2, but stakes don't get much higher than this one between Nazareth Academy and Bennett Academy. Both teams enter at 4-4, meaning one team will advance to the playoffs with a win, while the loser will likely see their season come to an end. The Red Wings return home to Benedictine University for the first time in nearly a month after a long stretch of road contests. Nazareth takes the opening drive down the field inside the 10. Sophomore quarterback Logan Malchek throws to Wisconsin recruit Justin Taylor for the touchdown to give the Roadrunners a 7-0 lead. In the second quarter, more of the same as Bennett struggles to get stops. Malchek with a 14-yard touchdown strike to Zach Hayes, Nazareth up 28-0 at halftime. Bennett is unable to get anything going until late in the fourth quarter when freshman quarterback Ryan Kubacki comes into the game. The snap catches him a little off guard, but he makes the right read and heads into the end zone to break the shutout. Nazareth all but assures a playoff spot with a win, while Bennett will have to hope for something miraculous to sneak into the playoffs with 4 wins. With only a 6-team conference, there are going to be some repeat opponents, and that means for the second time in the last 4 weeks, Naperville North and Naperville Central met up for a Crosstown Classic in Week 9. This time, Naperville Central is the host instead of North Central College. Naperville North in search of revenge after falling to the Red Hawks 10-7 in overtime last month. Meanwhile, Naperville Central can win the DVC championship with a win and a Neuqua Valley loss. The Red Hawks get the ball first. Chris McCormack drops back and has time to deliver a great pass to running back Tyler Dodd on the wheel route down the sidelines. That leads to a Logan Ellison field goal to put Central up 3-0. But the Huskies have a response. Aiden Gray hands off to Danny Elo, who pushes his way 3 yards into the end zone. Naperville North takes a 7-3 lead. Red Hawks back on offense as McCormack looks to make the pitch on the option, but Jackson Bauer makes a fantastic play to read it and knock the ball free. He then makes the recovery to set up another Husky touchdown. Naperville North is able to pull away in the second half. Cole Arl goes up the middle for a 16-yard touchdown run. The Huskies enter the playoffs at 7-2 and avenge the loss to their rivals by a dominant score of 31-3. Neuqua Valley travels to Mattia Valley in Week 9 for a rematch of the Week 6 contest, which was won by Neuqua Valley. The Wildcats are looking to shake off a loss to DeKalb and claim the outright DVC championship with a win. The Mustangs would love to pull off a shocking upset to wrap up their 2022 season. In the opening quarter, Ryan Moeller hands off to Matt Chevalier, who cuts to his right and gets a nice downfield block before finding the end zone. Wildcats up 7-0 after the first quarter. Midway through the second, Moeller drops back to pass and throws a dime to Grant Larkin in the end zone. Coverage was not bad, just a better throw and catch as Neuqua goes up 14-0. Just before halftime, Mattia deep in its own territory, Nicholas Landino makes one of his many interceptions on the season and starts working his way back upfield. Eventually, he finds space to his right and takes it in as the Wildcats take a 28-0 halftime lead. Final minutes of the game, Neuqua up 35-0, but Mustang defensive back Lucas Van Vlera steps in front of the Moeller pass and takes it all the way back for the touchdown. A nice way for the senior to end his career, but the Wildcats celebrate as they pick up the win and the 2022 outright DVC championship after a 5-1 conference season. Waubonsie Valley travels out west to DeKalb with the last opportunity to avoid a winless season coming against the Barbs. DeKalb riding high after earning playoff eligibility in a 14-0 upset win over Neuqua last week. DeKalb moving the ball well early. Jamari Brown knifes his way through the defense and puts the Barbs on top 7-0 in the early going. Near the end of the first quarter, Waubonsee quarterback Luke Elsey throws a deep pass to Sean Bison for 25 yards. The drive stalls, but Warriors kicker John Dardis steps in and drills a 39-yard field goal, Waubonsee only trailing 7-3 at halftime.
Field goal is good.
But in the second half, DeKalb was able to run away with the game. Talon Tate gets the handoff and sprints down the sidelines for a 55-yard score. The Barbs clinch a playoff berth with their 6th win of the season, while the Waubonsee Valley Seniors say goodbye to their teammates as the season comes to an end. So the final DVC standings see Neuqua Valley win the conference crown after a 5-1 season. It's a 3-way tie for second between the other 3 playoff teams, Naperville North, Naperville Central, and DeKalb. If Neuqua had lost tonight, that would have been quite the knot to untangle. St. Rita finishes in first in the CCL ESCC Green Division after a dominant win over Notre Dame on Friday night. Both teams will be heading to the playoffs, as will Nazareth Academy. Bennett will have to wait for the playoff announcements on Saturday night to see if they can somehow make the cut in Class 6A as a 4-win team. If you're watching this on Saturday, October 22nd, the IHSA playoff brackets will be announced later this evening. You can follow our social media accounts, including at NCTV17 on Twitter, to see who Neuqua Valley, Naperville North, and Naperville Central will be playing and when their games will be next weekend. Despite this being the end of the road for several of our teams, fear not, Football Friday will live on to see at least one more week with the local Round 1 playoff highlights. The postseason journey is about to get underway. We'll see you next week. For Football Friday, I'm Justin Cornwell.